Our book chats are a Thursday staple on the show. And of course, we're just about to zoom in on yet another book titled Nowhere to Run, written by a young author, Tofunmi Adeoya. And it's well written, it's a well written book. Now, she is a 13-year-old student of Dancehall High School, Lagos. And this, of course, is her first book because she's 13, right? And of course, she's joining us this morning to talk to us about Nowhere to Run. Now, this is a very interesting book. It's hard to put down, and it's pacey and has a lot of intrigue and different things happening in the book. So tell us about it.
The book.
Yes, just briefly.
I just started to write a book that focuses on child abuse and child trafficking and all, and like ways that we can solve it. So that like if you're a child and you're reading the book, you understand that you understand what to do when you're being abused. I understand that running is not like always the solution.
Yeah. So I think it's an excellent book. It tells us the story of Folake Alabi,
Yes.
who was living with her parents,
Yeah.
and her father was violent towards her mother, to the point where her mother died, and he was also violent towards her and was abusing her. And eventually, she ran away, and she just kept running. Why did you started this book very emotionally? How were you able to connect with people on that level?
Well, back in my school, they do a lot of counseling and all, and they tell us lots of life stories. And I was just like, I've heard lots of life stories about things like this and all, about child abuse, and I understand, like, at one point I got to understand how people feel when they go through things like this.
Yeah, because I mean, when I was reading, I was like, wow, the feeling that you put into it from the beginning, at some point where the dad was beating the mom, and she was begging him to stop. That there was a lot of feeling in there. I was like, okay, so has Tofunmi experienced this before?
No.
But you had heard a lot of life stories
Yes,
about
life
things,
stories.
the people that had happened before. Now, focusing on domestic violence and the fact that it's very rampant, it happens a lot. Is this one of the things that you want to talk about? Is this are you trying to also talk to young girls about things that they can do?
Yes, like one of the reasons I wrote this book is so that, like, if you're a young girl, you understand what to do when you're being abused. You don't just, cause there are lots of girls out there being abused and all, but they can't do anything about it, so they just keep quiet and the thing continues and elevates, and you can turn into something really dangerous and all, something really bad.
Yeah. Now, Folake herself was 15 years old.
Yes.
And she became a victim of human trafficking.
Yeah.
Because she was taken as a house help to Lagos. Is this also one of the things that you wanted to focus on?
Yes, I feel like most of the house helps nowadays, they're not really treated right. I understand that you are paying them to work, but I feel like they still have a right as a human being. So like, you should still be like, you should still be nice to them and like take care of them. Yeah.
Yes. Now, one of the things that I also noted in the book was that apart from the fact that, okay, so this has happened with her dad, and she had been abused at home. Even it was almost everywhere that she went, she continued to experience abuse. So she went to this house for the first time in Lagos, and then she met a young man called Mike, and he tried to abuse her again. And so she kept running. And you find that there's a lot of young girls who encounter such problems. Is there anything that you want to say, maybe to a young girl watching right now that is experiencing some of these challenges?
I just want to say that, like, if you are being abused, you shouldn't keep quiet or keep on running. I feel like you should talk to someone. And if someone doesn't listen to you, the first person you talk doesn't listen to you, you should always like keep on talking. You should keep on talking until someone listens to you and tries to do something to help you out of it. Because when you keep quiet, the thing elevates. And then when it elevates, it's really hard to stop.
Well, one of the things that you spoke about in the book, which I thought was very important, was the fact that there was a shelter. She ran to a church where she found help. How important is it that when someone is being abused or when there's a situation of domestic violence, for us to have shelters in society? Now, speaking to government.
If you like go to somewhere where you can be taken care of and where you can be sheltered, you can have someone to talk to, and the thing will obviously, the abuse and everything will obviously stop. Because but the problem nowadays is that when people like want to look for help, they don't go to people that they know will help them. So when you go to someone like the church, I know there are pastors there or there are nurses, I know, and there are people that can help you out of it and they will counsel you out of it. Yeah.
Wow. Thank you so much, Tofunmi, for writing this book. Nowhere to Run is very well written. Your use of English, everything. I know you're going to be writing a lot of other books as you get older. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Nowhere to Run. Tofunmi Adeoya.